Thank you all for joining us for this month's Communicating Your Science event. Today, I'm excited to have both Kendra Krueger, who is the Director of Outreach and STEM Outreach and Education at the SRC, and Shanté Booker, who is our communications assistant, who just joined us earlier this month, though late last month, I think it was. And they are going to also share their expertise. Today, I'm excited that we're going to talk about using video as a science communications tool, because it really is one of the best tools out there to have your voices out in the science community, out in the science community, sharing your expertise. And there are a number of reasons why this is a great tool. So obviously it's a great tool for bringing science to life. I have a typo there, please excuse me, to life, and using images to explain complex concepts. Video also forces you to be concise and to convey information in a direct, simple manner. The images tell the story. Video is also great for social media. It can also be used in your conference presentations and posting on your lab's websites. There are a growing number of free tools out there, some of which we're going to explore today. And they're easy, even if you don't have experience. You know, years ago, a lot of the free tools that were out there for creating videos were not at all intuitive, and they required some level of expertise. That's no longer the case. They really are tools that anyone can teach themselves. So today, as I mentioned, we're going to first, Shanté is going to kick us off. Whoops, sorry about that. Shanté is going to kick us off talking about shooting and editing videos with your iPhone and tips for social media. Kendra is then going to talk a bit about using TikTok for your videos. They actually have in-platform tools that you can use to create videos. And she's going to talk a little bit about some tried and true narrative frameworks for creating STEM videos. And then I will talk a bit about the Canva tools, the free Canva tools that you can use for creating your videos. And then we'll have a bit of Q&A. So actually, with that said, I am going to stop sharing my screen. And Shanté.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. Can you all see my screen? Okay, thank you. Okay, so like Shawn said, I'm Shanté. I've been here since the beginning of January, and I'm going to be talking to you about how to edit, tips that you need to know like before you edit your video, and understanding how to edit or which type of videos to post to social media. So okay. Okay, so the 4 things that you need to consider 4 things before you start recording, and that is the platform you would like to do a test shot, whether or not you'd like to add video, photographs, and as well as, my little 5 seconds rule. So the first thing to consider is which platform you would like your video to go on to. Do you want it to go on to Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, or one of the other 5 million apps that they have out there? Knowing this is important because it'll help you determine the length, the tone, and how you like to frame your videos. Stepping back for a second. So you want to know the platform, but you also want to know which part of that platform. So since social media platforms, they're all competing with each other, they're all basically stealing each other's stuff. So you have to know, for Instagram, for example, Instagram has Instagram stories, it has the main feed, and it has the reels. So Instagram stories is where you want to shoot vertically, because this is basically, this is what we initially think when we're about to shoot a video. We'll just kind of shoot it like this first, but you have to shoot vertically for Instagram stories because that gives your users the best experience. I mean, you can shoot a video horizontally, but it won't fill up the screen. It'll fill up the screen sort of, in this box form, but you want it to take up the entire screen if possible. And Instagram stories videos should be are about 30 seconds. And those type of videos are more impromptu, hey, this is what we're doing in the lab today. So you can think of Instagram stories as the place to sort of show people what you're doing, like kind of take them, let them get a peek into your lab or your work, basically. So it's impromptu, short, and fun, basically. Fun and informative, depending on how you do it. With Instagram feed, now you can post videos up to an hour long there, and it'll just, so we have the Instagram feed, but there's also a section that's for IGTV. It's not called IGTV anymore. I believe it's just called Instagram TV. But so what'll happen is you'll have the option to show your video, your longer video, on the main feed, but it'll also live on the Instagram TV version of the feed. So the TV has its own section where you can watch all of your videos. So what I like to do, I don't know if Shawn mentioned this, but I manage the social media account. And what I like to do is I'll have a short video on the feed for like a short 30-second video on the feed. And that videos like that, sorry, I'm kind of like going all over the place, but videos for the feed. If you do a short 30-second one, if you would like the video to live on the feed, it should be about like 30 seconds. And it could be, those videos are more sort of like talking to your audience, like, hey, this is what I'm doing today, or hey, you know, starting some kind of conversation, like, what do you all think about this thing that happened in our field? If you would like to do a longer version of that video, you can, but I would suggest not keeping it on your feed for more than a week. You can keep it on there for a week and then allow people to view it on the TV side. And then we also have Reels. I'm not going to talk too much about Reels because Reels are basically like TikTok. The way that people use Reels right now, excuse me, is they'll just repost what they post on TikTok on there. So when it comes to tone, we pretty much touched on that a bit for, you know, do you want a serious and educational tone? Do you want a more impromptu and informative tone? And then composition would, in addition to being, you know, whether or not you would like to shoot horizontally or vertically, is what you're about to record, excuse me, best looked at from a top view. So with your phone sort of laying flat and looking flat down on it, those are things to consider. Another thing to consider before you record is, or not consider, but to do, is to take a test shot. Like you don't want to record, excuse me, you don't want to record for like an hour or even 30 seconds and notice that you don't have your information. Basically, you don't have a good looking shot, or, you know, the lighting is poor, it's dark, or what you want isn't in focus, or what you want isn't sort of like in the center. So like when I say in focus, I mean, so like how my background is blurred right now, that's out of focus, and I'm in focus. But when I say in the frame, I'm thinking like, if let's say, well, the box that I'm in is in the frame, I'm in sort of like the middle, or a little, from my view, a little to the right of the frame. A good thing to look up is the rule of thirds, because what that does is it basically breaks down. So with my arms out, it basically breaks down the frame into those 3 boxes, and then you'll have like, you know, 2 more, and it tells you wherever the lines intersect is where you would want the main focus of your image to be. And that's so because it just helps people, it helps tell people where you want them to look. You know, it shows them the important part of your video, basically. And then next is another thing you want to ask yourself is, could a photo or photos help enhance your videos? So maybe you can't show everything. Basically, maybe there is something that shows up on like an X-ray or something like that, and you know, that sort of image would enhance what you're saying. What you could do is, well, the thing to consider when you're considering putting photos in your videos is, how would this help? How would this enhance? Because if they can see what you're talking about in the video, then you don't need it. Like, and I know sometimes it can be tempting to just kind of throw in an image in there, but you just want to consider, does this help enhance the story that I'm trying to tell with my video? And then also, is my image in focus? And then the last thing I would say is the 5 seconds rule. So if you are able to, And if you need to, so like, let's say you are about to record something on a machine, what I would do is before I start the recording the machine, I would record for 5 seconds with just nothing happening. And then I would like hit the machine on and then let it play, let the video play for however long you want it to play for. And then before I end the video, I would just kind of hold my position and then let it go, let it play out for 5 more seconds and then stop the video. So you want 5 seconds before you really start your video and then 5 seconds after, because that'll help you when it comes to editing your videos. It'll help you so that you won't have a lot of like awkward jump cuts. You know, it won't seem out of place once you transition from the next video, one video to the next. And that is the end for me. Does anyone, Shawn, did I cover everything that you wanted, or is there anything else that I should?
Yeah, actually, there are a couple of chats in the
Oh,
there are a couple of questions in the chats, which I'm thinking maybe we can answer now as opposed to waiting until the end.
okay.
So, some of which we attempted to answer, but I think you probably are the better person. So Susie Bartlow asked, with regards to the test shot, is this something that should be done before you begin shooting on the platform or posting, or she was just asking kind of the process for that, for the test shot?
Yeah, no, good question. I would do it before, just because you don't want to, you don't want to commit, basically. You don't want to commit to the video that you have and then you realize, oh, this is actually, you can't really, the thing that I wanted to be in focus is out of focus, or, I can't really see anything because it's dark. So I would definitely do it. I like to do it before.
Great. And then Bonnie Eisner asked, what about accessibility rules for CUNY and GC? And she pointed out that 99% that videos that are posted on the CUNY platforms need to be captioned with 99% accuracy. Yes, if the video, so if Kendra or Shanté or I are posting videos to the GC feed, then we need to make sure that those videos are captioned. But if you all are posting to your own social media feeds, you don't have to worry about captioning. However, there are a lot of tools out there for captioning, and I think Kendra can probably talk a little bit about that on the TikTok app, and I'll certainly talk about what's available in Canva that can provide you easy captioning without you having to send the videos out separately for captioning.
Yeah. I do like to put captions on my videos, but what's happening now is Instagram allows you to do auto captions. So you can hit auto captions and it'll automatically put captions on your videos. But sometimes it's pretty like inaccurate at times. So I still like to just add my own captions, but yeah. So I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, and I think even YouTube has a captioning feature once you upload.
Yeah, I didn't mention where to add the caption at, because I believe you might touch on that. It's kind of you can do it, I'm pretty sure, in Canva. So
right. And then Gia Sun asks, are there any permissions we need to get before filming in the labs? That's a great question. I think that totally depends on the faculty member in the lab. I think if you're just going in with a camera, I mean, with your phone camera, it should be fine. But always good to check, obviously. You want to make sure that you have any approval from your lab leads. You also want to make sure that anybody who maybe is caught in the background is properly dressed and equipped for being in a lab. So if you're in a lab that it requires eyewear, you want to make sure everybody on that camera has on their eyewear or their protective gear. You don't want to get slapped with any issues because people aren't properly dressed. So
with that, I would also add, you should also it depends. So if someone's in the background and you can't really see their face, then it's okay to post. But if you can see their face and they're prominently in the video, you might want to ask them, because that could also, cause issues. You should ask. And then also, since I mentioned photos, another great thing to do with accessibility that, the point that Bonnie brought up was that when it comes to photos, you should what you could do is add alternative text at the bottom. And alternative text basically lets people who are visually impaired know what the photo is of. So like right now, looking at Shawn on the screen, I would say, oh, this is a photograph of Shawn Rhea. If she were smiling, I would say smiling or something like that, just to help them out. I think there was another question.
And Bonnie mentions that the Graduate Center has photo permissions forms. So to kind of add on to what Shanté was saying, that if you have people in the lab that you're working with and they're going to be featured prominently in the video, it's always good to get them to sign off on permission for them to be used in your video. So these things are much simpler than they may sound as we're explaining them. And if you have any questions, please do follow up with us. So with that, I think we'll turn it now over to Kendra. And Kendra will talk a little bit about TikTok, which is a growing platform and a growing community of STEM SciComs communicators.
So I want to preface this just by saying that I am not a TikTok expert by any means. I'm a dabbler. So there may be people here that are far more skilled in TikTok. I want to get kind of like a show of hands. How many people here watch TikTok videos? Give me, either put your hand up or hit a reaction button. Okay, I'm seeing just a few. And then, all right, wait for your reactions to go away. And then how many of you make TikTok videos? Who's making TikToks out here? Okay, are those X's means no? Okay, so mostly no's. Okay, Sarah, maybe we've got a TikToker. Okay, good. So I'm not going to be embarrassed. Show you my limited TikTok skills. Okay, I'm gonna. So basically, for those not familiar, I'm gonna share screen for my iPad right here. TikTok is kind of the next generation of media sharing post, coming from MySpace, the evolution of MySpace to Facebook to Instagram to TikTok. And I'm sure there's something even new that the teenagers are using that we don't even know about right now. Screen start. And they're basically, short videos with sound, text, stories that can be different lengths from, they can be as short as you want them to be, but they can go all the way up to 3 minutes is the new length for TikTok. Is this now more popular? TikTok more popular than Google. Interesting fact. So within the TikTok world, it's a very sort of niche community. So the way that the main feed works is a little bit different than Instagram, in that it actually isn't so much based on like popularity of content, even though that is a factor, but you'll also see content that's just really specific to things that you like, even if they don't have a lot of popularity. So it's really good at finding these like niche communities that you can get connected with. So because of that, there's a like very specific science TikTok, science talk channels or communities that share different types of videos. And again, there's sort of like different types of videos, everything from more comedic stuff to more day in the life, following a person and more like, their own lifestyle and experience from that sort of like first person perspective, all the way to like showing off equipment and being more technical. So I'm going to show you some examples and then a little bit of like how you can actually make a video. So here's one that's a bit more comical. Let me know if you can hear the sound.
You need to make this. What is it? It's a part of a virus. A virus? Just a part of it, not the actual virus. They're called COVID-19. They have fork hands and they're coming. Fork hands? Please. What is this? This messenger told me to make them. I've never seen these before. I'll make some new antibodies to get rid of them. Seize the forks. Nice body. Gonna make this place my new home. Fork hands. Seize them.
So more comical things, which if people watch TikTok, you've probably seen that one a bunch. All the way to, more like commentary.
Okay, so stitch this with an annoying thing about academia. I'll go first. I hate that academic writing has such complex language for absolutely no reason. In my first year of my PhD program, I realized that I could spend an hour breaking down a reading, like reading and taking notes and trying to understand something, that after I read it, I can summarize in one simple sentence. If you are an academic, please use simple terminology, stop using jargon. That is gatekeeping. That's keeping information away from people just because they're not quote unquote smart enough or educated enough to know the words. If you are faculty, don't freaking do that. Don't do that in your writing, and don't do that while you're speaking or explaining concepts. You sound dumber when you try to use all these unnecessary big words anyway. Okay, so stitch.
More technical things.
So I've got a mini early Earth in my lab. Let's go take a look. This is an anaerobic chamber, which is basically a giant bag of gas that contains an atmosphere that is completely free of oxygen. If you follow me, you know I'm an astrobiologist, which means I study the origin of life and the potential for life on other worlds, and a really important part of my experiment.
And here you can
is to
see this is
replicate the
auto
conditions of the early
captions.
Earth, which we know contained no oxygen in its atmosphere. So how does it work? Well, it's hooked up to this giant pressurized gas tank here, which contains mostly nitrogen and a little bit of hydrogen. You might be wondering, how do I get things in and out of there? Well, I use this airlock mechanism here, and I can open the door, put my items in, and this airlock is connected to a vacuum pump, which vacuums out
To
the air in
things
the
that are just like looking at what's happening under a microscope.
Sometimes while filming things under the microscope, I see something that I really did not expect. This was going to be a video about isopropyl alcohol sterilizing a slide and killing bacteria. But when I dripped isopropyl alcohol onto a slide with inoculated water, the difference between the surface tension of the two droplets created some really powerful vortices. These movements carried along millions of little bubbles and bits of detritus and whatnot. And this created some really beautiful patterns that I wanted to share with y'all.
So
Sometimes while
lots of different kinds of videos. And oh, hey, Pearl. I'm just looking at the. Okay, are you guys able to hear it now? Right. Yeah. So, and since Pearl, you're here, I'll show a video that I made.
Went to Bronx River Park to get my soil tested.
This is before AutoCAD.
They used an X-ray fluorescence instrument to test for heavy metals like lead, arsenic, chromium, copper, nickel, and zinc. My backyard soil had some lead, arsenic, and copper.
This was also before you can make.
Went to Bronx
Before
River
you
Park
can
to
make
get
a 3-minute video. Now the limit used to be 1 minute. Now you can make up to 3 minutes. So that's why that was kind of a quick one. I'll show you one more, and then I'll show you how to make these kind of things. This is when our student enter lab. So now, one thing I could do is I could have a voiceover instead of having to type all the text, and I could have auto captioned it. I don't think that's featuring yet. That's the version. Any questions that are?
I was just going to ask you, can you repeat a couple of the points you were making about the captioning? We couldn't hear you because of the content.
Yeah. So now, in the videos that I made, the feature I used was just to type the captions and then have the voice speak them, because there wasn't auto captioning yet. Now I would suggest the easier way would just to do a voiceover and to select the auto caption. So I'll show you how to make a video now. It's me. So I selected from our last trip to the Met. So typically, because I make these kind of like, you can spend a lot of time like storyboarding out what this is going to look like. I'm sure young people have a whole, strategy for making them. The quick and dirty way that I do is like, if I'm doing a trip or a visit or an experiment, I will take a bunch of like short video clips, some of them longer because I'm documenting stuff in general. So on this day that we went to the Met, I took these, 8 videos, and I can just select them all and insert them. And then I can pick some music to go with it. So the thing about TikTok is it's very multimedia. So you want to put music and some, different effects and stuff like that to make it entertaining. It's got that artistic element to it. I'm going to use this Thundercat song. And then what it will do is it'll actually auto synchronize it to the music, so it'll change. And I can adjust it. Let's say like I want to show. It's a little bit like Google Drive. I can take different clips out. I can also how do you connect your TikTok videos to the right viewers, like on IG, Twitter? I'm tagging people in accounts and hashtags. Yeah, so it's the same thing on TikTok. You use hashtags to get it into the right content. And making that video natively on TikTok. So yeah, I'm using content that I recorded on my phone ahead of time. I was just using the camera on my phone to record videos, and then I imported those videos into TikTok, and now I'm editing it in TikTok. You say you inserted 8 clips, you put them together on TikTok. Yes, like Lumen or iMovie, exactly.
So the nice thing about this, I'm sorry, Kendra, if you don't mind, I just want to jump in here for a second. The nice thing about this is that you just need a little bit of foresight. So one of the interesting things about what Kendra did is she just shot a lot of short videos that day, interesting things that she saw. And then she was able to later that day just upload them and create kind of like a slice of life video based on these clips.
Yeah, so you could do the same thing like today, I'm going to show you how to use this microscope and video. Then next clip of turning on the microscope, then putting in the sample and video, then turning it on, so it's all like, you could do just like 5-second clips, like one thing, step by step. So you could even create kind of like a tutorial video, like that kind of thing. And then in this screen is where you can then add like the different text bubbles. So it could be like, today we went to the Met. And it's kind of actually, so in the videos that you saw where I had like that voice that would speak the bubbles, it's sort of out of style now to do that. Let's say, let's see people do more you get, you can do a voiceover. So like I can do like, today we took another trip to the Met and Amalia told us all about the sensors that she made for us today. We got to walk around the whole place by ourselves. It was closed because it was one of those special days. And we looked at where all of the art that we were going to be measuring the air content of was in. It was a great day. Can't record over preview. Okay. I don't know. Save. Okay. Today, we took another trip to the Met, and Amalia told us all about the sensors. Let's see if it'll do the captions. Today, we took another trip to the Met, and Amalia told us all about the sensors that she made for us. Here, you can see that you can actually edit the captions, which is useful if it's not doing it properly. Around the whole place by ourselves. And obviously, like you can tell, like my voice is not, the volume levels are not, but I'm also sitting kind of far away from, so there's lots of things that you can do to edit it. So that's generally, I'm sure we're running sort of short on time. So that's generally, today I waited to make the video. And then this is where you put in like all the hashtags and other elements like that. And there's many other features, there's stitches and duets and that kind of thing, but you can learn all about that just by scrolling on TikTok, which you can spend many hours doing and finding your own very strange niches, which may be everything from, you know, different types of avocado toasts to bird watching, to book talk, to anything else. It's all out there. It's a very interesting community. Was there, let me look at my list if there's anything else I missed.
So Sarah Frizard is oh, okay. So there are a couple questions. So I'm sorry. So Susie Barlow asks, so TikTok is like a trailer to a deeper look at a longer video. How can we connect the trailer to the feature in Instagram TV, for example? That's a good question. I don't think those two platforms are connected, but who knows? That there's so many buying, because like I know you can connect Instagram and Facebook now. So because if Facebook bought Instagram, I don't think you have that ability across Instagram and TikTok, but I could be wrong. So let's go to our resident expert, who would be Shanté Booker.
I know that you can, at least in TikTok, you can put a link to your Instagram account. You can say more. So like there's a lot of YouTubers that use TikTok that then have all of their like heavy duty stuff on YouTube. So they say like, go to my YouTube channel to watch more videos. Shanté, you have anything?
Yeah, no, that, and you can also take the reel and post it onto, take the TikTok and post it onto Instagram Reels and direct them to your main video on Instagram.
We took another trip to the Met. I'm gonna go back to all about the
I don't know if that answered the question.
Yeah,
and I saw someone ask something about like how to boost like engagement. They were talking about tags. Another way that I would suggest that to boost engagement is like using the popular sounds. So like once you create or edit your video like Kendra just showed, and you go to click for your sound, you could click on like TikTok viral, and or scroll down a little and click on TikTok viral, and it'll show you all of the sounds that people are using.
Oh, yeah.
Great. And then there were a couple of tips that were shared here, and then I'm going to move quickly into the last item on today's agenda. So Sarah said you can download the video, and if you're unable, if you enable auto captions, you can download the video with or without captions. And she also points out that you can edit the volume of the audio so that your music isn't so loud on top of the voiceovers. So yeah, so this, it's a platform that'll take some playing around with to use it, but as Kendra showed, it really is pretty intuitive. Yeah, it's really pretty intuitive. So with that, I'm going to again, share my screen. I'm sorry, hold on. What's going on here? And we will talk a little bit about Canva video. Okay, so So a couple of things to know about Canva before we go into the site, and I'll just kind of walk you guys quickly through it. There's a free service level for Canva videos similar to Canva graphics. I'm guessing that most of you all have used Canva graphics in some way just to create little logos or little promotionals for events that you may be having. And it's nice because what it allows you to do is you can load in all of your own assets, but then there are also assets within Canva, some of which are free. So things like memes or photos that you can use without any charge, but then there are others that are, that you can pay, you have to pay to use. If you want to get a membership level, Canva is actually pretty affordable. I think it's maybe like $7 a month or something, but don't quote me on that. It's not expensive at all. You can upload and use photos and videos that are shot with your own phone or any device that allows you to upload images. You can record video and audio right in the Canva app, or you can record and upload videos that is recorded in your own phone. And there's, as I mentioned, there's a Canva content library, which includes a good deal of free content. I'm going to share with you guys shortly a video that I did yesterday. It's not great quality, but I literally pulled it together in about 3 hours, sourcing free content across the web. If I had had more time to work with it, it would. I think you'll see that if I had had more time to work with it, it would be higher quality. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to go over to Canva now. Everybody can see my screen, I'm hoping.
Yep.
Okay, great. So when you enter Canva, when you log into Canva, you'll see right here, you have all the options for what kind of content you want to create. So if you go into blank video, okay. The first thing you could click on, the first thing is the top here are templates. So there are a lot of templates that are already available in Canva. This is taking a little minute to load, which will help suggest formatting for you. Or you can just start here from a blank template. And then what you begin to do is, the first thing you'll want to do is if you're going to upload anything, you'll click on to uploads. If you already have a library of stuff here, that'll pop up. These are all things that have been uploaded. You have here images, videos, and audio, right? And these are all items that you've uploaded. If you need to upload media, you just click here, upload media, and then you can begin to import, just like you import in pretty much anything, various pieces of media. So, from your device. Once you've uploaded, so that's one way. You could also, there are also things that exist in Canva. So if you click on elements, you'll get to see various pieces of content that are already in here. So graphics here, photos, and if you just hover over it, it'll tell you whether it's free. So these are all free. I think I might be, let's see here. Well, these may all be free, but it might be because I have a filter on it for free items, and I'm trying to figure out. You can set a filter. Okay, I don't know why it's not coming up, but you can set a filter to show you items that are free or items that are premium. Wait, let's see. Yeah, so I'm hitting the C. Okay, anyway, I'm not gonna get bogged down in here, but there is a filter that will allow you to set it so that you get to see items, yeah, various available items. Okay, so once you've decided that you want to start adding elements, so let's say I'm here in elements, I can add from here. I can just drag this photo over here, for example. That'll be the first thing in here. Let's say I wanted to add a little video. I can drag the video over. That'll show up here. I can also skip over to my uploads, and I could grab an item let's say that I wanted to use from things that I've uploaded. And as you can see, what it does is it just starts to set up the flow of content here for the video. And so you'll see it just kind of scrolls through it. Right? You can edit each of these for time by just dragging here to lengthen the amount of time that's on screen, and it'll show you. So that's at 6.2 seconds. If this one image will stay on, that's at 2.7. And you can just literally go to each one to adjust the amount of time that an item will stay on screen. And once you have all your items loaded in here, you can also do an audio. So if I want to, for example, I'm just grabbing anything. I want to put this recording in here. I literally just grab on it, move it down, and you can see that it automatically loads the audio in below into the
timeline.
The timeline. Thank you very much. Into the timeline. This is a very short audio, so it's not, well, it's not allowing me to drag, but oh yeah. So then you can grab it and drag it so that it covers either just one image or the entire length of the video. So right, as you can see, as I dragged it here, now, if I go back to the beginning, I'm going to have sound that covers the entire length of what I'm setting up. Right. Canva also, if you click on audio, you get to see the audio that it has in here. Okay, so now here's an example. So this one is free. This one is pro. So pro means that I would have to pay for that. Okay, or it's only available if I have a membership or subscription rather. You can also record voiceovers. So let's say I wanted to do a unique voiceover for this. I'd go over the side here to where these three little dots are. I'd go to present and record. That I then go to recording studio. And you can see here, it says start. What it does is I can choose to, if I just want voiceover, then I make sure that the camera is turned off. You can see that through the little line here, right? And it says no camera. And then I can select the source of my audio input. So my MacBook Air, or if I were recording for Zoom, I could do it over Zoom. And then I would just hit start recording. It gives you a little prompt, 2, 3, 1, right? And then you'll start recording. So if you don't like what you've recorded, you messed up, you just hit cancel and discard, right? This doesn't automatically go onto the video. What it does is it goes into your audio library, your uploads. Hold on. And then you can choose to add it to your library. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. Let's go back. There we go. All right. Okay. So that's quickly how you can use these kinds of, you can use Canva. Once you're done, oh, what is also super nice about this is it gives you an option to share. If let's say you're creating a video and you want some input, you just share it, and you can share it with your team members, or you can copy a link and email it to someone so that they can come in and they can take a look. And then you can easily just click on this button at the top and it goes on the full screen and it shows you the video. So that said, I would like to share with you all a video that I put together yesterday. Like I said, I think in about 3 hours. And when I say 3 hours, this is everything from going online and choosing my assets. All these assets are things that I just downloaded that were available readily online. I think there's one image in here. There are a couple of images in here that were part of our library, and some things that I had gotten from a researcher. So one of our ASRC researchers. So let's see here. It's just taking a second to load.
So what's the story behind gut bacteria and your brain? Can what's going on in your gut actually determine the health of your brain? Researchers are learning more every day about how the bacteria that live in our guts, known as the microbiota, can impact our neurological and mental health. The bacteria in our guts produce metabolites and neurotransmitters, which can enter the bloodstream and hitch a ride to the brain. Once there, these molecules can help us stay healthy or negatively affect our moods and the progression of neurological diseases. A recent study from researchers at the CUNY ASRC found that the gut bacteria of multiple sclerosis patients produce higher levels of three toxic metabolites: p-cresol sulfate, indoxyl sulfate, and N-phenolacetylglutamine. They believe these neurotoxins make their way to the spinal cord and destroy the myelin sheath that protect nerves, causing a progression of MS. The research tells us more about the role of gut-brain communications in neurodegenerative disease progression, and it also provides a potential metabolic target for developing new MS therapies. Read more about this study at asrc.gc.cuny.
Okay, so as you guys can see, that was a really rough edit, but these are really simple tools. They are much more intuitive than what used to be out there. So with that, I think we'll just open it up for questions.
And there were a few in the chat I was trying to answer. So Bonnie asked, where do you get your audio? And do you use the Canva recordings or get your own from a separate source?
So the audio, so last night I did a bit of a bootleg thing. I literally put some music on my phone and I recorded it into Canva, right? Now, you probably can't get away with that if we were going to show this publicly, but I was just making this simply as an example of what could be done. There are a number of services that you can get licensed music for. Yeah, so. But the nice thing about that is I was able to just literally play my phone into the Canva app to get it in there. Yeah.
And then Helene was asking, when you imported the audio, does it automatically align? I think because it seemed like it was short at first, it was aligned to that first clip, but then you were able to extend it. But is it looping, or was that actually the length of the full audio clip?
That one was the length of the full audio clip because what I did was I storyboarded the images first and looked at the time, and then I literally just played the music for the length of time that I had put the images in. But you can stretch out the music, and I believe what it will do is it will actually loop. So
can I ask a follow-up on that? This is Helene. When you had your speech that you were saying over the images, how did you get, did you have to set the length of time each image was shown to match your speech, or how does that work? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so what I did was when I wrote the script, I put my images in order. I wrote the script, I determined which words I wanted to match with what images, then I recorded it. And then I put the sound along the track of the images. And then as it would play, if the image wasn't long enough to match the words, I stretched the image out. If it was too long, I clipped it, and it was exactly as I showed you guys how I dragged with the sound. It's the same thing with the images. And the same thing would work if I had used videos, if I had been linking videos as opposed to kind of still images or, yeah. Does that answer the question, Helene, or?
Yes, thank you.
Great. Any more questions?
I think that's all from the chat. I think I answered the question so the recording will be available on the Communicating Your Science website and also on YouTube, right? On the ASRC YouTube channel?
Yes, yes. And what we will do is, I know we covered a lot of ground today. I'll just stress two things. These things really, really are intuitive. If you go into the apps and you begin to play around with them, they're pretty, I to give you, if you really feeling intimidated, give yourself a half a day. By the time you finish, you really will feel like this is not difficult to master. The second thing that I will say is that we'll put these tips in print, and we will share them. So I know because I know we did cover a lot of ground. So we'll share them both in a follow-up email and on our website. So.
And I want to second what Shawn was saying about like just try it out, because if you're just doing this on your like personal page, people really, for some reason, more homegrown material is actually really relatable. And so if it's rough around the edges and you're figuring it out, people think that's funny and cute anyway. So like go ahead and make something really rough. Like you saw my videos where like, just sort of like this and that and jumbly, and some were too fast and you couldn't read the text, but it doesn't quite matter. It's just more about being playful and like figuring out your own style and how your own story and personality come through it. And that's what people connect with. So, just have a good time with it.
Yeah. To add on to that, I would also suggest, like, if you're trying to like grow your following, utilize Reels and Shorts on YouTube. Because for grow your followings on those platforms, use those two sections, because they're really pushing out, because they're competing with TikTok, they're really pushing the content out of there. So their algorithm isn't based on, it isn't going chronologically. It's just like whoever's interacting with it the most. And like, if your video, since they're really pushing out the videos, if you get, if you get like 10 people clicking on it, then, they're most likely going to keep shooting that video out. So utilize Shorts and Reels for YouTube and Stories if you're trying to grow your platforms, grow your following on those platforms.
And yes, Canva can be uploaded to all platforms. That's one of the advantages of it. You can actually even create in the various platforms formats. Those templates will allow you to do that. And I'm trying to actually respond in print to that, but for some reason it's not working. Okay, great. I think, one last question. So Yanis asked, are there examples of projects online that you would recommend us checking out? I'll give a little thought to that. And when we follow up, I'll add some. I don't know if Kendra or Shanté may have some suggestions.
We can just maybe put a list together of different like influencers that have pages that you can get inspiration from.
Yeah.
Right. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining. I hope you all learned some good information from this, and please feel free to follow up if you have any questions. So.